Recently, I had a session with Ann Emerson, a healer who helps people release subconscious thoughts that are holding them back. As I told her a little bit about myself, she said, "Powerful women in your family get killed." I said, "What? No, I didn't say that." "You're right," she replied, "but it's what you believe." She's right. I mean, look at our misogynistic society. More personally, this is part of my generational story. My maternal grandmother, Margaret Elizabeth Derrick, died in 1967 at the age of 43, abandoned by her philandering husband and left to raise two girls on her own. I don't know how she died. The patriarchy? Her life is shrouded in silence. Then Anne asked, what happened at 42? Here I am on my 42nd birthday in 2020, the beginning of COVID, when I started losing it. I was living in my parents' house trying to work at home with a 2.5-year-old who suddenly stopped napping. My culinary PR company was folding and my marriage was imploding. I couldn't understand why I felt so suffocated in my marriage. It was like I had scuba gear on while on dry land. There had to be something wrong with me. My hormones, perimenopause, depression, my body, anxiety. This is how society trains women to think, that we're the problem and we should work harder to fix it. So I wrote. Coming back to writing saved my life. In June of 2022, I attended my first writing residency for my MFA at Vermont College of Fine Arts. The same week, the Dobbs decision was announced, ending Roe. I didn't know it at the time, but I would never have sex with my husband again. And now look where we are in the state of South Carolina. So I wrote about women trapped in marriages, inherent misogyny and patriarchy, and violence against women. I wrote advocating for sex strikes until women regained bodily autonomy and healthcare rights. I wrote that sperm are as deadly for women as guns in this country. They say the body keeps the score. The year before we separated, I couldn't go 2 weeks without getting sick. At 44, I broke my ankle taking the dog outside. 9 screws and a metal plate later, I was told I had to be non-weight bearing for 8 weeks. My son was 5, and it was 2 weeks before Christmas at the time. Now my life became a modern scene from the yellow wallpaper. Me losing my sanity by sitting for 8 weeks in the rubble of my marriage, unable to do anything. Now I was not only emotionally invisible, but physically invisible too. A woman who is not physically capable of performing in our society is a woman ignored. My anorexia returned, something I thought I'd conquered from high school, and I had suicide ideation. While soaking in a warm bath one evening, the only face I felt untethered from my body, I remember looking at the pill bottle and contemplating nothingness. Then I heard my son laugh outside the bathroom door, and it pulled me out of my darkness. I thought of my grandmother. Was I caught in the generational trauma loop, or was this just a logical outcome to patriarchy? I was determined to have a different ending. I was determined to live. The forced stillness in my life at this moment ended up becoming a great blessing. This silence allowed me to hear my quietest voice, so I wrote. 6 months after I broke my ankle, I broke my right hand running, my writing hand, downtown, the day before we were to leave for our marriage counseling weekend, our last-ditch effort to save our partnership. Once again, the universe put me in a position where I would need to ask for help and not receive it. For 3 months, my ring finger was so swollen it refused to bend. Quite a metaphor. My friend told me I was becoming kintsugi, the Japanese art of filling broken pottery with gold. The universe was making herself clear. I was going to have to choose, myself or my marriage. I didn't have any more limbs to sacrifice. So I wrote. 2 months after I broke my hand, we separated. This was the grief stage, the bug soup. It's a common misconception that when the caterpillar enters the chrysalis, that it grows wings to become a butterfly, that growth is linear. In actuality, the caterpillar dissolves into muck, everything breaking down to a cellular level in order to completely rebuild anew. During our separation, my entire self as I knew it dissolved. Everything I'd been taught to do and did so diligently, work hard, stay thin, get married, have a family, go to church, be compliant, stay private, stay silent, no longer served me. The only thing that kept me going was my love for my son. And so I wrote. I had no idea that while writing my way through the divorce process, I would come to finally understand the makings of the master's house. Patriarchy, misogyny, racism, and capitalism. I had no idea that the undoing of these structures around me would lead me to question heteronormativity and ultimately find myself a late-in-life bisexual. Joan Didion famously stated, "We tell our stories in order to live." I believe we write our stories in order to survive. I write to try to understand the structure of family. I write to navigate divorce and becoming a single mom. I write to document my son's life. I write to remember that I'm still here. I write to remind myself that I still have a voice. And as I laid on the wooden floor of our family home a year ago at the age of 46, the week before I was to move out, 9 months into our separation, without the structure of marriage or partnership, unsure of my finances or future, I decided to create Revisionist. Because why the fuck not? Created with my beautiful graphic designer, Scott Long, Revisionist is a literary journal featuring women, writers, poets, artists, and culinarians. It's my way of giving the middle finger to the patriarchy and to amplifying the stories of the women that helped me arrive to this point today, to my own freedom and to my own self-love. We're also hosting nights called In Her Own Words, a night of women writers sharing their stories. If you're a woman with a story to share, please sign up. Stories connect us. They're the bread of life. As Muriel Rukeyser, one of our greatest poets of our time, said, "The universe is made up of stories, not atoms." All this to say, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm 47 and I'm starting over, rebuilding myself and my life with my son one day at a time, trying to follow my spark, my joy, my truth. I do know that my story matters now, just as your story matters. We cannot be silent anymore. I hope you'll join me. Thank you.